Yeah, hi everyone. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into it. This is the risk disclaimer. Apparently, I need to do this at the beginning of each video, but we're all familiar with it, so read it in your own time. And we all understand that this video that you're about to watch is for educational purposes only. It does not give financial advice in any way, shape, or form, and you take personal responsibility for any decisions that you may make as a result of the information shared, and don't hold me or the video people that make this video responsible. So let's get right into it with that little bit of useless information out of the way. So let's keep moving. Traders, welcome to the week ahead. Let's get right into the charts now that we've got the housekeeping out of the way. Aussie CAD, we looked at this last week, and I suggested a possible entry here, a pending order. These are historical lows down here, and we saw this pair just drift on back down. So the pending order got taken in, and we went up and then came back and stopped out. So there's a few pips there or break even. I can see this thing coming back down and testing these areas just in and around here. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of a shelf that begins to take place down around there. So I'm just going to be patient and see what happens. Once it had stopped me out, I did jump in, and I had a target down here. So I'm not holding any Aussie caddy trades at the moment. I think I just opted to get out. I'm looking now to see what happens at this level. We're still very much in a down trend, in my humble opinion. A lot of sideways stuff. If this is going to break, it needs to really take out these levels in here. Need to get it close above this area here around 0.90. Aussie Swiss again, nice little trade up of 78 pips. Did take profit on it before the weekend closed. Just waiting to see. Here's historical lows down here. I'm really a little bit hesitant with this one until I see it close above here. If this goes straight up and then comes back, I'll look for a bounce from this area here. Otherwise, if it comes back down, I'll be looking for a bounce somewhere off here. So we'll see what the week brings. Aussie JPY, there was no trade for me at all this coming week. This was the break that you could have got if you were trading trendline breaks. At the beginning of the week, we saw it here. At the end of the daily close, we got a good little entry here if you wanted it. I wasn't in it because I was already exposed on some other Aussie pairs. Aussie New Zealand, it's struggling, and we're at historical lows down here. Looking for, I suggested a pending order there. I did not get into that. I think Calder might have got into that. I'm not sure. Can't quote me on that. I can't remember. But this is really struggling right now, and I could see this just going sideways. So it still remains a viable deal. Possibly I'll look at putting a pending order in after market close. I'll let them. I'll check the charts before London after the opening bell, and we'll see how we go. Aussie USD. Again, just really expecting some more movement down. The Aussie economy's weak. I know a lot of people are saying that we're going to get a run up, but I'm not so sure. These here, they've been bottoms, and so what would have to happen is that it'd have to bounce from here. I haven't got any pending orders in it. Not convinced that we're going to get a significant move up. It doesn't mean to say we will. It's just my opinion, and we'll have to see what the market does. But at the moment, I'm still bearish with the Aussie USD, but I am very, very flexible. And if this proves to be a bottom and we get a move off here, I will definitely look to be putting pending orders in here if I deem it a good move. I'm still holding CAD Swissy here. This was the entry. I'm looking to take my first position off here. But before the market closed, I decided that I would take both positions off, and I did. So a nice little run of around about 50 pips, maybe a little bit more depending on where your entry is. Both positions off, and I just think that this is a really key area. And rather than be greedy, I just thought it wise. I might regret it come the open of the market, but that's the CAD Swissy. Looking for another opportunity to get long. We could see some sort of a retest just come down into here somewhere, and then maybe that sort of move. CAD JPY, no trade. We talked about this last week being a key level. The trade didn't eventuate. Swiss JPY, and this was my pick of my top potential trades for last week. We talked about the aggressive approach, which was in here, and of course me being an aggressive trader, that's the approach that I took, and now we're down in here. So we're sitting pretty at the moment. I've got more pending orders waiting under here to add, so I'm quite happy for this to go boom and carry on, or for it to go a retest and then down like that. I don't care, but I'm still holding at the moment. Target areas, we'd have to go up to the weekly to see that. I'm looking at my first position target down here. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Up about 30 pips at the moment, 30 or 40 pips, looking real nice, and enjoying the ride. Euro AUD was a nice little move. We talked about the possibility of this last week. We had the trend line in here, talked about trading it down to these sort of areas. That's a pending order after daily candle change, and a nice little move. Potential of around 130, 140 pips. Right now, it's anybody's guess. I'll just wait for the open day to get at least to the London Open, and I'll reevaluate that trade then. If this is going to be a bottom, we'll wait and see. I'm expecting further weakness in the euro, but like I said, it's only my opinion, and we'll have to wait for the market to confirm that opinion. Entered here on pending order. This was a nice little trade. Profit targets were down here at 145. They were hit. It's no good having regrets. You know, I didn't get in this again. I missed this move. I just wasn't smart. So nothing ventured, nothing gained. But if I was going to look at getting in here again, I definitely want to have a look, see what's up here. Yeah, it just looks real juicy. I think this is a particular good target area right in here. So I am going to be looking for an opportunity to take this trade right in here somewhere. We'll have a little look. Let me just change the color here because it's a monthly color, and go back to the daily and have a quick look. Yeah, I'd really need, my preferences for some sort of sideways movement or something, or retest at least, and then I would target off down here. This is where my pending order will be, somewhere in there, but I'll wait until just before the London before I do anything with that. So that's a trade on my radar. Euro Swiss just continues to come lower. I'm really looking for a bottom. I'm not trading this down because it's quite expensive for me to trade down. I'm prepared to wait on the sidelines until it turns. I haven't checked the monthly to see where the historic, oh, there they are. So we could still see this coming on down here. Here's the historic lows. So we're looking for a bottom somewhere around, sorry about that, guys. For me, it's, you know, we've just got to be patient. And here we go, we're back on track here. You can see it's quite a way down here. So still looking for a bottom. For me, it's just simply, we'll see if this is a bottom here. And if it is, we'll be looking for a bullish signal. Euro pound, caught a nice little trade on that. We spoke about that last week. We spoke about putting a pending order down here. She fired out of the trades, took profits, and Bob's your uncle. Just real simple stuff. What I'm looking at now is to see what happens. This could, notice this little pullback off here. I'd like to have a look at the weekly chart. Let me just bear with me for a moment. Yeah. That if we can get a break below this area here, I'm going to be looking at putting pending orders somewhere in here. And if I get that opportunity this week to trade it south, my first targets will be somewhere in here, probably there, and we'll just see what happens after that. And that would fit with my thoughts of the euro dollar continuing to weaken. Doesn't mean to say it'll fall out of bed. We'll just wait and see. Euro JPY made a breakdown. I wasn't in this at all, but if I was in this trade, I'd be holding my second position if he took two. And this here is, I would say, quite a key area. Let's go check up on weekly. Yeah, look at that. So it's coming back. This is where price reacted. Look before. There's not a lot of pips to here. I'll wait and see if there's this level's going to hold, and then I'd look for a move north. Euro ZE, nice little move like the Euro AUD. That was pretty simple stuff, really. We talked about the possibility of what it could do, and from here, talked about this level. That would be where I would take a bullish trade, but we got the breakthrough here, and Bob's your uncle. Right now it's hitting major support, so if you're not in it, I would be waiting to see what happens, and possibly this could be an opportunity for another trade. Might as well just remove all drawing tools, but I look at these levels in here. It's at a critical inflection point. Here's the next area here. So if it's going to come south, I want to get an idea of how many pips. 60, yeah, we'll have a look. I'll look for some sort of confirmation. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of retest off here. And if this is truly another push down, it really does have to take out this lows. It had to go here and failed right here. So it does have to take this low out. So if we get it close below here, I would be interested in putting my toe in the water. And then once it's broken this area here, of course it's not a very good line, I would be taking a decent sized trade at that point. Euro USD, holding this trade at the moment, and I've added to it, and I will be continuing to hold it. I really like the look of this, and here we go. Historical lows down at 105. It got lower, but I think this is on its way, so I'm planning to hold this, and this week I'm hoping to get an opportunity to add. with a retest. That's what I want to do. So that's on my radar. Pound AUD. Now the pound is at critical levels again. We saw with the reshuffle of the parliament that the market liked it, but it is unable to carry on. And I think there's some great opportunities coming on the pound, but bear in mind that if this is going to continue north, because this is an uptrend when you look at a weekly. So let's come back to the daily, because that's what I trade around. We're at a key inflection point again. And, you know, that trend line, it could hold. It could be a continuation. But bearing in mind that there's still a lot of volatility around the pound for the next 12 months as they work out terms of trade and the terms of their relationship. I got into this trade. I've got in just here. I am still holding positions. I am looking to add this week. So there was my entry just in there. Real easy stuff. Now I just want some sort of a bounce. I still got 2 position open, looking for some sort of a bounce and carry on up here. Pound Caddy, very similar to the pound AUD and the pound New Zealand. It's not, if it's going to strengthen from here, the elephant in the room, which we must not put our heads in the sand about, is the volatility around the pound until terms of engagement for the new relationship between UK and ECB is sorted out. That could be another year. So when trading the pound, protect your profits, don't get greedy, and make sure you protect your capital. This here, for me to be confident that we could kick off from here, I'd need a close above here. And for me, I'm going to do it conservatively. I would wait for the break or retest. And this is where I'd get in here if I was going to get into that trade at all. Pound JPY. Nice little trade. Came back, took me out. So I got a few pips in there. Now this is the key level. Looking to see if this can push on. Same story with the pound ZD. So I'll be looking at that this week and really evaluating just what's going to go on, because you know, there's a lot of volatility around the pound, so be careful. This is in an uptrend too, and again, this is key level. If this can just, even if this moves ahead now and becomes a very defined bottom, I will be looking to launch off here. Pound USD, I'll be looking to launch off these areas here. Here's the key level. And we saw a move up last week, but this is the key level. And then we have to get above here if we're going any higher. It's managed to get up to 132 earlier in the year, but it just came off it with what appears to be some strength in the US dollar. Going to be very difficult for that pound USD to get cracking. So here we have the New Zealand Swissy. Here was the move here. So nice little run up. Trades off the table. Here's the key area. I'm just going to wait. This could go sideways. Some sort of retest. We talked about this last week. And a move up. So at the moment, no trade. New Zealand Caddy. Very similar thing. It's just could go either way. Because I'm in New Zealand, I understand what's going on in the economy. I think we're going to see further weakness in the New Zealand dollar this year, and also the Aussie dollar against the US. So I just can't see how this can get going and make a massive move up here. I'm more inclined that maybe it'll come and retest this, and then we get a lot of sideways movement. But we'll have to wait and see. It's only an opinion until the market tells me what it's going to do. No trade here in the New Zealand JPY. If we break this level, in my humble opinion, we could get another move down. I like this trend line here. We've been going sideways last week. And so this area here is definitely looks like it's a key resistance area. So a break of the trend line, you would have me very interested in taking it north. Nice little scalp here of 30 pips last week. Hope you caught some of it. But again, we're at key inflection points again. 65, I think, is a real critical area now for the Kiwi dollar against the US. And as long as 65 is holding, we could see a lot of sideways movement, like I said last week, but I'm looking for another opportunity to go lower. USD CAD. I know a couple of the guys in the trading room, you got into this. For me, I'm just waiting on the sidelines. Key inflection point. I'd love to buy this from down here. I'm not sure that I'll trade it down. It depends on what happens. But at the moment, here's the key areas here. If it's going to come any lower, it's going to have to break. I think a break of 132 gives us a shot at maybe coming all the way back down here again. Definitely if we break 130, 150. That's the key area there. Okay, US Swissy holding this trade. It's been a beautiful trade. My first take profits here. I am going to try and hold it, then look for an addition. So I will take my first position off the table, will be taken here. If it pushes up, then I will be looking for, something like this here. I think as long as the US dollar continues to perform, that this here is a doable target. US JPY, no trade. This 110 to 150 area is really key. Now, if we get massive strength in the US dollar index, I will take a trade here, but it's got to show some massive strength. And at the moment, it's just going sideways and it can't make up its mind. There is no trade at the moment on gold. I am looking for a break, and I make no bones about it. I get a break of the 1600 area, I will be putting my money on that. However, in the short term, I quite do expect this kind of thing. And I will take a trend line break on this week if I get the charts. But I think that it'll just stop here again. Silver is very similar. No trade. Let's have a quick look at the index. You can see what's taken place over the last couple of weeks. We have taken this strong move up to around 99. Now, this is critical. If we get some sort of breakthrough and then a retest and then we're off to the races, if we get that scenario, watch gold to come down in the short to mid-term. Watch the New Zealand US dollar fall. Watch the Aussie US dollar weaken. Watch the CAD against the US to weaken. Look for the US Swissy to strengthen. So there you have it. Okay, let's take a quick look at the economic calendar for the week. 8/28 February. Yep, right. It's not what I would call a heavy calendar this week. We've got a few interesting pieces of data coming out. Keep an eye on the monetary policy meeting minutes. It's well worth a read. You might not understand it, but it's really important that we get to know how the fundamentals apply to the market. And monetary policy is just going to be the Reserve Bank of Australia setting out their viewpoints for the next quarter, the next wee while, maybe even a year out. And it's helpful to get an idea of where they're thinking. If they're going to hold interest rates, then it's probably going to be business as usual. If they're going to drop it or begin to talk a little bit about the need for maybe further easing, then that could well lead to some weakness in the Aussie dollar. So we've also got CPI for the pound year on year. That'll be interesting. That happens on Wednesday. Bear in mind that the pound has not been able to break up above key areas. It has not recovered from the Brexit thing, and there are certainly some key levels, as we saw in the video the week ahead, that if the pound's going to strengthen and move up from here, there has to be some close above key levels. My take on it is that we're likely to see quite a bit of volatility around that pound as the UK work out the terms of how they're going to relate to the ECB over this next year. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And there's a lot of inflation readings this week for the Canadian dollar. Nothing there that is supposed to be a surprise or a curveball, but keep an eye on it because you never know. Then we have the meetings from the Fed. This employment change for the Aussie is equivalent of non-farm payroll, basically for the Australian dollar. But there's not much there. This reading here looks to be a lot more positive than it has been, but we'll wait and see. Policy meeting accounts. I think this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be the European Central Bank's latest release, and it happens 8 times per year. It's a detailed record of the ECB Government Board's most recent meeting, providing in-depth insights into economic conditions or how they read the current climate economically. Then we come on down to Friday. We finish up with some manufacturing PMI readings out of Germany. That's always interesting, and that will have a bearing on the euro potentially. As long as there's no surprises, there'll be business as usual. We round up the week with some more CPI or inflation readings around the pound and a little bit on the CAD at the close of the market. So, you know, all in all, not a outstanding week on the economic calendar, but still keep your eye on it. Now, if you like this channel, please click the subscribe button. And if you feel like leaving comments, leave some comments. I am going to put an email address on the end of this video just before I finish recording, and you can contact me on that email address if you would like to join us in what we call the chat room. So take care out there, traders, and please be careful. Protect your capital, take your profits when they're there, and happy pip hunting. So here's the email that you can contact me on, kiwifx67@gmail.com. Just a couple of a little announcement. Feel free if you want to ask me any questions, or if you want to take a look at a particular pair, I can include that on the video series that I'm starting as of tomorrow, which will be entitled Daily Candle Change, and it will be looking at any potential setups I see after the daily candle change going into the next 24 hours. Now often there's not, so but I just want to stay in contact with what I'm doing, and if I can be of any help at all, let me know. Cheers. Happy pip hunting. I hope you have a great week. Talk to you later.